Hi, I'm Sam and I'm the founder of Merve. This is the first video in a series that I'm creating, which covers the features of Merve, and we're going to follow through with the same course as we go along, building a platform for building your own online business. So we'll be starting with how the structures for courses work in Merve, the courses, the units and the lessons and so on. And if you're watching these videos on the website and you want to learn a little bit more about, a certain topic that I've not quite covered, you'll find it in the at the bottom of this page with the related features. If you're watching on YouTube, if you have a look on our channel, you'll find a range of videos that cover each individual topic in more detail. But this is a series. It's probably worth watching it in sequence if you are on YouTube, and we'll put a playlist together for that. But yeah, any questions or anything, please do reach out to us, and we'll be happy to help. We do generally follow a typical course school structure, as you would sort of expect. So you would have your curriculum, you would have your course. This is the course that you're trying to deliver. So here you've got your Merve platform, and through these demos and these guides, I'm going to be building a course on how to build your online business. So sort of structured the content in a document just to sort of brainstorm and think about how I'm going to build this course, and we'll get to that in a second. But just to help you understand how this structure works is you've got your platform here. So in this example, it will be my BYOB course. So this is the platform that I'm creating, build your own online business. And we've got course 1 and course 2. So underneath your platform, you can have as many courses as you want. You can have one course, you can have multiple. And each course is ultimately something that a student will sit down, they'll enroll, and then they'll go through that particular course. And courses have units, and your units are going to be your sort of main learning objectives, right? So it's chunking up those lessons. So underneath a unit, you will have, and it'll be in order. So you'll have lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3, let's say, right? And there's no reason as to why your lessons can't be shared. So you can have the same lesson on multiple units. So for example, we might say lesson 1 is also going to be under unit A, and then there will also be a lesson B, let's say, right? And that would sort of show here. So the way that the students will go through this is they'll complete the first unit, or the first unit will be open to them. That'll be in progress. And then they will complete each lesson in order as you've got here. So in unit A, if they're doing course 2, they'll start unit A, and then they will do lesson 1 and then lesson B. And then when they do course 1, they'll do the same lesson here on the unit 1. So they'll do lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. So that might be like an introduction lesson that you just want to have, and it's shared across multiple units or courses or whatever it might be, right? Yeah. So what I also recommend doing is another way of using this is generally when you're building your lessons, you want to make sure that you're not, every single lesson is something new. You do generally want to have a refresher just to sort of cover the topics that have already been discussed, and make sure that we're reinforcing that knowledge as we're going along, right? So so we've got lesson 4 here, and that one might be a I don't know, let's just say unit 1 refresh. Drop the font so we can read that. So that's unit 1 refresher, right? And then actually no, what we'll do is we'll say lesson 1 refresher, right? So we're just doing a refresher on lesson 1 there. And then what we might do is structure it like this, right? So we'll do lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 1 refresher. So we've done lesson 2. Now we're going to refresh our knowledge of what we've just done there. And then we'll do lesson 3, and then we'll do lesson 2 refresher, right? Something along those lines. So you kind of have this pattern of learn something new, and like again, this is not like perfect, right? I need to sit down and think about this a little bit more, but the general principle is that you're learning something new, and then you kind of reinforcing that knowledge generally at the start of wanting to learn the next topic or something else that you're doing. And as you're sort of progressing through your units, you're sort of introducing new topics and then reinforcing the things that you've already taught, right? So you would have something along these lines. And then the beauty of the way that Merve's structured in this way is that, if I just move this over, is that what we can do here on unit 2 is we can say, okay, well, all right, let's do a unit 1 lesson 1 refresher, and it's the same lesson again, right? So we don't have to rebuild this again. It's okay, well, what we're going to do, and I'll show you how that works in a second. But what we can do is say, okay, well, the students are going to do that lesson again. They're going to do that little refresher lesson. And they're also going to do lesson 2 refresher just to make sure that they've really understood and they're sort of secure in their knowledge from the topics in unit 1, right? Because these are going to be the important ones. Lesson 3 might be, I don't know, not as important, I don't know. But yeah, then what we might do is we might jump into, okay, well, now we're going to do lesson 4. And you would structure it in this kind of format, right? So as you can see, the structure within Merve is designed to be as sort of flexible as possible, but with this kind of ability in mind. Again, there's nothing stopping you from just doing lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and sort of running through them. And another point as well when you're building your lessons is that you kind of want to make sure that the lessons aren't too big, right? So they are of a size where someone can sit down for 15 minutes, 5 minutes, something along those lines. They can get that lesson done, and then choose, right, do we move on to the next lesson or not? You kind of want to avoid, a student not being able to sit down in one sitting, sort of complete a lesson, and then, decide, do the next lesson or not, right? So that's generally a bit of advice as to how to build your courses and how to build your lesson structures, and also how it works in Merve. So I'll give you a practical demo now, and through these demo videos, we're going to sort of be working on this course that we're building here, which is an introduction, just sort of a building your own online business, and how to do that. And we will make this available to people to actually to do. And it'll be a free course that we'll host on the Merve platform as we sort of build it out. But while I'm doing it, I'm going to use it for the demo videos. So so if we jump into Merve, so here we are, we're on the courses screen. As you can see, we don't have any courses yet, and we'll start creating those. So we've got our course title here, building your own business, building your online business. So I'll click there, create building your online business. So we'll create that. So here we go. We've got our first course, and obviously we can add a thumbnail to this. We can add some descriptions, and then our units. So if we add our units now, so our first unit in our plan is Unit 1, Introduction to Online Businesses. So we'll create that. So here we go, we've got our first unit, Introduction to Online Businesses. And as you can see, you can import your lessons. And this is the way that your lessons that are kind of separate from the unit when you're creating them, and then you bring them together because you want to be able to reuse your lessons rather than sort of having to create them over and over and over again if it's something that is done on multiple times. So we'll import. I've already got my Get Started lesson ready to go in preparation for this. We'll create a lesson in a second, so we'll just import that. And as you can see, we've got Introduction to Online Businesses. It's a draft lesson, and we'll cover the sort of publishing statuses in a second, but courses have publishing statuses, and so do lessons. And we'll just quickly upload a thumbnail for this. So we'll just use our logo that we've been using. Make sure that it's fitting nicely. And what we do is we make sure that obviously the images that you're uploading are fixed to the aspect ratio that the sites are expecting. So we are going to support more aspect ratios in the future, but at the moment it's just square images that are supported. So yep, we've got that there. And then if we go into here, we've got a course objective, right? So we'll copy all of that and we'll put that into the description. Save. Great. So we've got our course, Building Your Online Business, and our course objective, enable students to conceptualize, launch, and grow their online businesses effectively. So there we go. If we add another unit, so we'll add our second unit, just get prepared. I'll just show you how that works. I'll copy that now. There's our second unit. So yeah, planning your online, it's planning your business. So the unit order is obviously important as well. So this is the order in which the students will complete the course. Again, you can reorder the lessons, but what we'll do is we'll start to create the second lesson. I think there's a second lesson in the first unit. Yes, there is. Setting your goals. So go over on the left-hand menu to lessons, and we will create a new lesson. And that lesson is called Lesson 2, Setting Your Goals. Actually, we'll just call it Setting Your Goals. Setting Your Goals. And our description is that one there. So each lesson has a curriculum, and these are standard curriculums mapped currently to the UK curriculum list. If you do think that you're working on a course that doesn't neatly fit within these curriculums, please do contact us, and what we will do is we'll review that and look to add a new curriculum to this list. So the general idea is that this should be a fairly comprehensive curriculum list that we can sort of, all of our platforms are using the same. So in this example, we're just going to use citizenship, and it's an entry-level course. Again, your levels are customizable, so that's something that you can do, and I'll show you that in a second. And your language. So again, that's something that we can add to. So at the moment, just in this platform, we've got English as the only language. So yes, just setting your goals. So this is your lesson, and as you can see, lessons have multiple activities, or you can add activities to lessons, right? So these are the activities. When a student starts a lesson, they will then start to complete these activities. At the moment, we've got reading material, video, YouTube video embeds, and quizzes. And new activities are coming. So we've got one in release. At the point of recording, it's not quite ready. It's still in development, but the ability to upload and download documents as well. So the idea is that you might have a workbook or something that you want the students to download, complete, and then upload, or maybe it would be so we've got a customer of ours is doing like podcast courses, and then as part of that course he will review the work that the students have done. That might be, it's good for sort of tutors as well, things like that. So yeah, that's coming soon. Again, at the point of recording, it's still in development, but that should be done in the next couple of days, or maybe by the time that this is on the website, it'll be done. But yeah, anyway, so we'll jump in. So you've got reading material, for example. So this might be a book about setting your goals. We'll go into the more details on each of these activities. You'll be able to see those on the website if you scroll down onto the related features, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description as well. But yeah, we'll go into the details of those. So we'll add a video as well. So this is a what will we call this? Tutorial. So the students will be able to see these names, by the way. So when they go into the details of the course and they're seeing what the next lesson is, they'll see this title, the description, and then these activities listed with the types below it, right? So it shows you that this shows the student this is a reading activity and this is the title of it. So that might be the title of the book, and then this might be, again, so I've done a tutorial video and it's a type of tutorial. And you can reorder these nice and easily by clicking and dragging and moving them around. Again, you can do YouTube videos, which would just be grab the link and put them in there, and then quizzes. So we'll add a quiz to this one as well. So these are kind of you can either inside your lessons or each lesson you might have a summative assessment. If we go back to this structure here, so in our unit we've got lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, blah blah blah, and what we might do actually is add at the end of the unit we'll add assessment, right? So that will be the unit assessment at the very end that the students will do. So you could just report on that one, for example. So you'll say, okay, I want to do some reporting for student progress, or I need to submit sort of proof that the students have understood the concepts that were within the course for any kind of qualification or certification. So you might just say, okay, well, I'm going to do an assessment lesson, and then when I do my reports and submit them to sort of a governing body, I just want to just sort of report on this assessment in particular, right? But for you internally, it might be useful to have these sort of summative assessments, or for the students as well. So when they complete lesson 1, like, did they actually understand it? What did they get wrong? And again, it'll be in another video, but the quizzes will give them what, sort of immediate instant feedback as to this is what you got wrong, this is what the right answer is. So they will be able to see that. So it's quite a good idea to add these into each of the lessons. And then by the time they come to the assessment, they should hopefully have a really good understanding, because they've kind of made the mistakes through the lessons when they're doing these summative assessments and summative tests. Little quizzes, and then by the time they get to the assessment stage, the idea is that they're sort of passing at a really high rate, right? So that's sort of how I would recommend structuring that. So here we're just going to add a little summative. Oh, actually, no, we'll call it test your knowledge, right? So something fun, right? It's not an assessment, right? It's nothing scary. It's just that we're going to have some fun here, maybe. Okay, and then again we're going to upload an image for that one. So if we go to our thumbnails, I should have a setting your goals. There we go. So again, as I was talking about the fixing the aspect ratio, so here's an example of an image that we've got. I've just generated this on AI, so it's got some very interesting text there. But it kind of encourages you to sort of crop the image to the aspect ratio that the sites are going to expect, just to make sure that everything looks neat and tidy. You don't have sort of images that are all jumping about in different sizes and stuff. So we can zoom in, we can move things around. But I think that looks pretty good there, I reckon. Yeah, so I'll save that. So this is our getting started. We've got whatever. So we're going to set our goals. So yeah, again, we've got our publishing status, which I'll jump into another topic later. So just on the course structure, so if we just quickly go back, so now if we go back to our courses, jump into our course. So we want to add another lesson into here, so we'll import that. Great. So here's the one that we've just created. Fantastic. So now we have our first two lessons. If they're in the wrong order and you're adding them later, you can always reorder them here, right? So we can just again drag, move, and then that'll also switch them around. So now you can see that, okay, we're doing this one first and then we're doing this one second, but that's not right. We'll move that back real quick. So super intuitive, super easy to use. Again, if you made a mistake on your unit, you can just quickly make an edit here. Whatever you want to call that, and you would save that change, sort of build from there. So just really quickly on the levels. So if you go to tenant settings, lesson levels, so this is where you can start to customize your levels, right? So when you sign up for a free trial, you'll get 3 options to choose sort of some templates that you can start from, or just build it from scratch right there and then. So this is one of the templates, just this really simple entry level, and then level 1, 2, 3, and these are just general sort of qualification levels in the UK. It might not apply to you wherever you are, so you can just customize these and change them to whatever it is that you're needing. So I might just call this one, okay, these are just introduction levels, right? So yeah, I think that's I think that just about covers it. And yeah, watch the other videos if you want to just delve into something more specific. The way that I'm structuring these is I'm just going to touch on one little topic at a time. On the website is a great way to view these because we include what the related videos are as well. So if there is something that sort of you want to delve into a little bit more detail, it's really easy to view them from there because it sort of shows you at the bottom. But yeah, obviously you can jump into a free trial at any time on the website and get started building. 14-day free trial and no credit card required. Just go to Merve.app and sign up and get started if you're ready. Alternatively, keep watching the videos, and if there is any feedback, if you've got any questions, by all means, please get in touch at inquiries@axol.team, and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.